Hello everyone, so it's Laura here again from See Clear Counselling. Thank you very much for joining me again this week. So this week we're going to talk about sleep, and I've got 5 tips on being able to help you sleep better. So for those of you who haven't seen one of my lives before, I'm Laura and I work for, I own my own company, See Clear Counselling. Got a buzzy fly around me. I've got my own counselling business based down in Poole in Dorset, and offering counselling on a at the moment on a telephone or a online basis. And I've got a fly, I hope that's going to go away. This week actually I've been rearranging my therapy room. Hi Alex, hi Charlie, nice to see you both. I've been rearranging my counselling room this week to try and accommodate this 2-metre distance that we're going to need when we're back to hopefully being face to face. I don't know how long that will be, but I took my time to make sure that it's safe for when people come back to face. Yeah, it was a huge fly. I hope it's not going to come back. As I say, today we're going to be talking about sleep, and through this kind of isolation period, then our sleep patterns could well have been disrupted because there's been a lot of change that we're going through at the moment. Talking to some of my clients, it's certainly been a trigger for some restless nights and some sleepless nights, and a lot of that's down to the worry of the virus. Our constant changing environment, the stress and the anxiety about now and about the future, and the change in lifestyle, our diet and our drinking habits and things will all contribute to disrupting our sleep pattern. Hi Julie, nice to see you. Oh, hi Rian, nice to see you. So now I've got some building work going on, and hopefully they will be leaving very soon. They told me they'd be finished now, but it sounds like there's a little bit of banging going on. So hopefully we won't get too much banging and noise in the background. Fingers crossed. So as always, thanks for those that come along and watching live. Some of you might watch on the replay, so I will be uploading this video onto my Facebook page, See Clear Counselling, after this. I always write a blog afterwards, and if you want to read the blog based on this, then you can go to my website, www.seeclearcounselling.co.uk. I've opened up a new anxiety support group as well on Facebook, and if you want to join that, then go to Beating Anxiety on Facebook and come and join us. So 5 tips today on helping you sleep better. So we're going to look at increasing your daylight and reducing your blue light. We're going to look at considering what you eat and drink before you go to bed. We're looking at keeping to a regular sleep pattern, having a nice relaxing bedtime routine, and to make your bedroom a calm environment for you. Now, if you've been struggling with sleep for a long time and feel that you have insomnia, then I would say go and seek some more help around this. These are just very basic tips that I'm giving you today, but there's an awful lot that contribute to having a disrupted sleep pattern. So let's learn a little bit about sleep first to understand why we need these habits. So sleep is essential to us. It's our body's way of being able to maintain our proper function and to keep us in good health. We are programmed to sleep each night, and this programming sleep to restore our bodies and our minds. We have 2 systems that contribute to our sleep pattern. We've got our own internal biological clock, and that can change for people. If you're a shift worker or you do night work, then that can change for you. And then we have our circadian rhythm, and that's really important for how we are affected by sleep. And that's kind of like our thermostat that switches on when we need to go to sleep and switches off when we need to be awake. We've got 2 main types of sleep. We have our REM sleep, which is our rapid eye movement, and then we have our non-REM sleep, non-rapid eye movement sleep. So our REM sleep is what is known as our active sleep, because that's probably when we're going to be dreaming, and it's a more wakeful sleep. And if you're woken up from REM sleep, you will probably remember or have vague recollection of a dream that you were having. Now, non-REM sleep is our deep sleep state, and it's unlikely that we dream in there. It's quite difficult to wake someone up from a non-REM sleep, and if you do, they will probably not remember their dreams. And hi Donna, thanks for joining. And our sleep pattern tends to rotate in about 90-minute cycles. So you're kind of going in and out of REM and non-REM into REM, back into non-REM, and you continue this cycle. So every hour to an hour and a half or so, you're actually in this REM sleep, which is that more active sleep and a little bit more wakeful sleep. So if you're having restless nights, it's usually in this period that you're waking up. And this cycle can be affected by all sorts, things like age, the amount of recent sleep that you had, the time of night or day, which is relevant to your own internal biological clock, exercise, stress, and environmental conditions. And of course, we've got lots of this going on at the moment in the environment that we're living in, and a lot has been changing for us. So it's understandable that our sleep might be disturbed because of it. Now, our internal biological clocks differ, and that means it's different for all of us of how much sleep we actually need. It's said that about an average of 7 hours is good, but some people need a lot less than that, and some people need a lot more. So you will get into your own rhythm of sleep. It's said that Margaret Thatcher only needed 2 hours sleep a night, and she ran the country on 2 hours sleep a night. Hello Sylvia, thank you very much for joining us. Nice to see you. So let's taking into consideration what our natural sleep rhythm is, and we need to get into sync with our own circadian sleep pattern, and that will move us towards having a better night's sleep. And so some of these tips will help you getting into that circadian rhythm. Charlie says you get 4 hours on a good day. If you're not feeling tired the next day and it's not affecting how you function, then maybe 4 hours is what you need. But if it's affecting how you function the next day and you're feeling tired the next day, then it's likely that you need more sleep. And some of these tips might help you to get a little bit more sleep. So the first one I'm going to say is increase your daylight and reduce your blue light. Now, increasing your daylight may seem counterintuitive to having a good night's sleep, but it's all about that circadian rhythm that I was talking about, because natural light helps you to keep your circadian rhythm healthy. So daylight exposure actually improves the quality and duration of sleep. In one study, it was actually shown that if insomniacs increase their amount of time in daylight, they actually reduced their time to fall asleep by 83%. That's massive. So start your exposure to daylight as early as possible. Open your curtains as soon as you wake up. Have breakfast by a window or in a sunny room. In the summer, sit outside and have your breakfast. Now at the moment, for some of us in isolation, it may mean that you're in a dark, dingy environment. So try and get to the window as often as possible and get out for your hour's exercise and get that daylight. And then when we're back to work, if you're working in an environment, the fly's back, if you're working in an environment with, artificial light, that's the word I was looking for, then try and get outside as often as possible. So in your break times and in your lunch times, go out into the daylight. This fly is really going to annoy me. Let's hope we can ignore it. So your circadian rhythm associates daylight with daytime. And if you're in dull light, then it's associating that with the nighttime. So getting as much daylight as possible, it knows that you need to be awake and it's daylight. Now on the flip side of that, at night, we need to reduce our amount of light exposure, because bright light at night tricks our brain into thinking that it's daytime. So at night, when you're getting into the evening, make sure you have low lighting on in your rooms. Maybe have lamps on instead of the ceiling lights. Computers, TVs, mobile phones, all a no-no at night because they emit this blue light and they emit it in very large quantities. So it really makes sense to reduce your screen time in the evening and reduce the amount of blue light that you're taking in so that you're not tricking your brain into thinking it's daylight because there's so much light. So, look at reducing that blue light. It's recommended that you stop looking at computers and phones and stop watching the TV about 1 to 2 hours before you're going to bed. And do not have any of these in your bedroom. So to keep our circadian rhythm healthy, get more daylight during the day and reduce your bright light at night. And then your natural sleep pattern knows that you're awake during the day and you're asleep at night. Julie, could I ask, does it matter if you're better, more REM sleep than the other deeper sleep? You will go into a natural cycle of REM and non-REM sleep. So you will constantly go through that cycle at night. Sorry, cock that question up. Okay, I'll try and explain what it means and then maybe if we kind of see. But what you need more of, I think what you're saying is, do you need the deeper sleep, the non-REM sleep, or the REM sleep? You need more of your deeper sleep because that's when you're really relaxing. So it's a way of being able to make sure that you get into this rhythm of REM and non-REM, but actually you stay asleep during your REM sleep. So that's when you're most likely to wake up. But if you've got into a good pattern, you should sleep right the way through. Charlie's saying, I'm scared of the dark and silence, so I always have the TV on, but that stops me sleeping. Yeah, that vicious cycle. That is a bit of a vicious cycle for you. What I would suggest, Charlie, is perhaps doing something more like putting on some music or something, because that would be more relaxing for you and you wouldn't get the blue light either. That answered your question, Julie. Good. I was a bit of a cockeyed way of describing it as well, but I think we both got there. So that's about light in the room. The second one is to consider your food and intake before bedtime. So food and drink has a number of effects on our sleep pattern, and it reduces the quality of the sleep and the quantity of your sleep. So if you think about during isolation, our food and drink intake has probably changed quite a lot. Our usual routines have changed. We're eating at different times. We're probably drinking a little bit more alcohol. We're probably eating more carbs and more sugary food. And as I say, we maybe have changed our meal times and things. It may be that you're not drinking so much Costa coffee, and actually that's going to be a really good bonus and might help towards the sleep, because caffeine's probably the most well-known stimulant, and reducing your caffeine intake will absolutely have a positive effect on your sleep pattern. Caffeine enhances our focus, our energy and our performance, so it's great for during the day, but it is absolutely not conducive to a good night's sleep. Caffeine stimulates our nervous system and it stops your body from naturally relaxing. And actually caffeine can stay elevated in your bloodstream for about 6 to 8 hours. So it's suggested that you shouldn't have caffeine after about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so that your caffeine is at its lowest level when you're going to bed. Now, tea also contains caffeine as well as coffee, and I would suggest that you change your tea and coffee for decaffeinated, because caffeine is really not a friend of sleep. Now, if your coffee intake has changed, it may well be that your alcohol intake has changed as well. And I think some people are starting drinking slightly earlier during the day, or having a little bit more to drink maybe, because they're not going to work. Now, even a couple of alcoholic drinks at night can negatively impact on your sleep. Alcohol is known to increase your symptoms of sleep apnea, increase your snoring, and give you disrupted sleep patterns. So it could be that you're not only disrupting your own sleep, but if you're snoring next to your partner, you're going to be disrupting their sleep as well. And what time do you eat your dinner at night? Are you eating it earlier now, or are you eating it later? You should actually avoid big meals with rich food at least 2 hours before bed. Spicy or acidic food can cause acid reflux, and that will disturb your sleep pattern. don't take away caffeine. It's my drug. I rely on it. And I don't finish work until 10. Okay, that's fine, Rian. Rian saying she got disturbed by a phone call. That's all right. You can come back and join any time. I work loads more than I have, so my caffeine intake has tripled. Yes, and that could be affecting your sleep pattern at the moment, Charlie, because you're drinking so much caffeine. You're not finishing work till late, and that will have an effect. And sometimes it's difficult for us to kind of find things that we can change. But there may be some other things in these tips that you can try that will help you. But I would try and reduce that caffeine intake a little bit if you could. It would be a real help. And thirdly, of course, you know, I talked about rich and spicy food. Food high in carbs as well should be avoided before bed. The fly's back and it's annoying me. And you know, we're told to drink lots of water during the day, and absolutely get your water intake in. But again, stop your water intake about 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed, because you'll be disturbing your sleep if you're getting up to the toilet all the time. So that's food and drink, and consider some of those. The third one is all about keeping a regular sleep pattern. Now, if you really do struggle with sleep, this is something that you probably need to try and get into the habit of doing. It's quite difficult when we're working. Tip 6, get rid of flies. Yes, I wish it was, Julie. It's really annoying, isn't it? Yeah, and it can never sleep when there's a fly in the room. So we need to keep a regular sleep pattern, and your natural circadian rhythm aligns itself to sunrise and sunset, and you need to get this in sync with your body's natural rhythm. So keeping a consistent sleep pattern, your body will naturally know when it should sleep and when it should wake up. And if you go to bed at the same time every day and you wake up at the same time every day, you will improve your long-term quality of sleep. It can be really tempting to have a late night at the weekend, and we go out partying at the weekend, and then that kind of mucks up that sleep rhythm and that natural rhythm that we're getting. And if you really are trying hard to make sure that you're sleeping well, you really need to try and keep that sleep pattern regular through the week. And Charlie, I know it's difficult when you're working various hours, it can be really difficult. So, you know, but it's trying the best to get into a regular sleep pattern. Because diversions away from it can mean that you have to start all over again. And if you do stick to a good sleep pattern and regularly go to bed at the same time and regularly wake up at the same time, you actually won't need an alarm clock, because you'll have got into your natural rhythm, and you will wake up when you need to wake up and when you've had enough sleep. Sometimes it can be tempting to take an afternoon nap, and that's okay, but don't take a nap for more than 20 minutes. You've heard about these power naps, take them for about 10 or 20 minutes, and that's the best, because if you go over the 30 minutes, you could be starting to go into that non-REM sleep, and then you're going into a deeper sleep, and you can feel groggy and everything when you wake up. So a little power nap is okay, but any more than that isn't very good for you. So that was tip number 3. Try and get yourself into some kind of sleep pattern, a regular sleep pattern. 4 is about having a relaxing routine before bed. So studies have shown that a bath or a shower is good to have before you go to bed, especially for older adults. They actually aid you falling asleep quicker. One study suggested that if you have a bath 90 minutes before you go to sleep, then it leads to having deeper sleep. If you're not able to have a full bath, have a shower, or you can soak your feet in hot water, and that actually helps relax you. And then organise a relaxing routine to unwind before you go to bed. And as we said before, this doesn't include TV, computers or phones. So dim your lights in your room, turn off the TV, put some relaxing music on, go and take a warm bath or a shower. Listen to an app like Headspace or Calm. They're really good, and they have some excellent meditations and bedtime stories and things on them, and they're really good to listen to. Go to bed and read a book. Reading a book is a good way of relaxing. And then close your eyes and just relax. And don't worry about going to sleep. Don't think about going to sleep. Just think about relaxing. Do some deep breathing, do some progressive muscle relaxation, which we talked about previously, and they may well then help you to relax and you're not fighting this sleep. Headspace and Calm, they're not free, they're apps, but I've heard that Headspace have released some of their stuff free for the moment while we're in this isolation period. So it may be worth checking out. I'm sure it is Headspace, but check out both of them. And one of them is definitely giving away some free stuff at the moment. But I've heard lots of people that use these apps and they are very, very useful. So good thing to look into, Charlie. Worry, stress, anxiety and anger can stop you sleeping because of all those negative thoughts that are going around in your head. So in your bedtime routine, if you're someone that lays awake worrying about things before you go to sleep, take a notebook up with you, write down all your worries before you go to sleep, shut up the notebook and put it to one side and tell yourself that you will revisit those in the morning. It takes practice, but that will help you to stop all those thoughts going around in your head. And if you wake up in the night and you're worrying, again, jot them down in your book and close the book. And if you do wake up at night and you can't get back to sleep for about 15 minutes, don't lie in bed fighting it. Get up, go and do something nice and relaxing, go through a nice relaxing routine again, and then go back to bed when you're feeling more tired. So a nice relaxing bedtime routine is really important. And our last one is to give yourself a nice, calm bedroom environment. So at night time, the bedroom is for sleep and sex and nothing else. No TVs, no computers, no telephones. You need to make it the key factor of your bedroom is for sleep. It's for a good night's sleep. So things that will help are the temperature in your bedroom. You need it to be cool, and you should, if you can, open a window. Around 18 to 20 degrees is best, but whatever feels cool for you. But don't have your bedroom warm because that doesn't aid good sleep. Reduce the noise. Now, if you live on a main road or you're in a very noisy place, then put some earplugs in to reduce the noise. Block out that external light. We've talked about how important it is to have that darkness, and I know that you're afraid of the dark, Charlie, but try and block out as much light as you can. And for those of you who aren't afraid of the dark, put up some blackout curtains, maybe put on an eye mask, and turn off your artificial lights around you, such as alarm clocks and phones and things like that. And think about the furniture. Do you have a nice comfortable mattress, and do you have pillows that are good, comfortable for you to sleep on? So there we are. That's our 5 tips on helping you to get a better night's sleep. Now, obviously some of you won't be able to do all of them, but maybe 1 or 2 of them might be things that you can start to put into your bedtime routine. And if you've been struggling with sleep because of all the changes that are happening, then try and put some of these into action. The food and drink things can be quite easy to do, but not if you're addicted to caffeine, obviously. Tip 6, Charlie's got a tip 6 for a spray lavender or peppermint oil around your room to keep the huge irritating flies away from you and stop the buzzing. That's a very good tip. But spraying lavender on your pillow is a really good tip, Charlie, and that does help. Lavender is very relaxing. And if you ever go to some hotels, they give you little lavender sprays to put on your pillows, which I think is very nice of them. So there we are, sleep tips for today. Hope they've been helpful, and I hope that you can try some of them out and see if they can help with your sleep. And as I say, I will upload this onto my Facebook page so that you can watch it on the replay, or if you think it will be useful to other people, then they can watch that. And I say I'll write a blog and put that onto my website, www.seaclearcounselling.co.uk. And as always, if something is troubling you, then speak to someone, go and talk to someone, because actually things that trouble you can also interfere with your sleep, these worrying thoughts that go through your head. So if you can get them out of your head and talk to someone, that will really help with your sleep as well. And as always, I'm available for counselling if people feel that counselling will be useful to them. I'm offering internet via video and telephone counselling at the moment, whilst we can't see face to face, and I am offering reduced rates whilst we're in this difficult period as well. And as always, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll check in with you again next week. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.